Hey everyone, this is Yiannis Sarris' Theater Video Journal number 3, Intimate Apparel. Question number 1, what did you notice? What was strange, meaningful, etc.? What I noticed was the juxtaposition of both intimacy and racism as true driving forces of the play. Racism in a negative way, intimacy and love in a positive way. The fact that those two things coexist together, they drive the play together, one positive, one negative, I think is really interesting in terms of thematic appeal of the two driving forces of the play. Question number 2, what values are being represented in this dramatic world and the groups they're attached to? One value is the struggle of the lower class, and I think who represents this best in the play is actually George. George is a bad character in the play. He's a bad husband to Esther. He catfished her. He led her on. However, what he does show very well is the struggle of the lower class. He had to work hard on the Panama Canal, and historically, it was terrible, terrible work doing that. The project was canceled and restarted. And working such hours in those conditions are shown to cause patterns of addiction, which we see in him, such as his gambling addiction and his alcoholism. The other example is race. I think in the play, Esther is a metaphor, actually, for the black experience in America. She creates amazing, intimate apparel. She contributes to society, however, inherently it goes unseen. It's a metaphor for the black experience, the contribution to America going unseen. Shown by undergarments, which go underneath the clothes. And then question number 3, something I didn't understand prior that reshaped my understanding of the play is what went into the Panama Canal, the history of the Panama Canal, which makes George's experience a lot more potent. Question number 4, the 3 R's and the racist stereotypes. I think what is interesting about this play is that what it does for stereotypes changes depending on when you're viewing it. So the play came out in 2003, and right now we're reading it in 2019. One issue that changes over time, such as that, as we become more socially conscious, an example of that is blackface. Blackface is a much more contentious topic in 2019 in the wake of many prominent politicians having been found to use it, and it has a different meaning to us today than it would have in 2003. In 2019, I think that the use of blackface would actually draw so much attention, negative attention to an issue, it would actually resist racist stereotypes. Whereas in 2003, it would not have had that effect because it wasn't such a hot-button issue, and it would reinforce black stereotypes due to the lack of relevancy. Do stereotypes exist today? What perpetuates them? That's a very big question, way beyond the scope of this video. Probably the class, you could probably do a class just about that question, but my quick answer is that stereotypes exist in all forms, good and bad. What perpetuates them is the human need to classify people into groups because it's easier for our mind to understand different ethnicities and races when we associate traits with them. I'm Greek, I get all the stereotypes about my big fat Greek wedding, for example, the stuff people associate with the Greek ethnicity. When it becomes a problem, however, is when those traits are extrapolated into negative attributes by those who are closed-minded and afraid of the unknown. The way to overcome stereotypes, in my mind, is not to pretend they don't exist, but rather acknowledging them, and most importantly, respecting them and the differences between other people. And really quick, my 2 questions. Number 1, how would this play be received if it released in 2019? Number 2, how would this play change if it was set in 2019 instead of 1905?